The history of money and Bitcoin. You may have recently read a lot about Bitcoin in the press. But, exactly, what is Bitcoin? What difference does it make? What's more, why do you care? It's digital money for a digital era, and it's the rarest, most divisible, most transportable, most verifiable, and most recognizable type of money throughout history. What evidence do we have for this? To find out, let's look at the history of capital. A hunter killed a mammoth about 25,000 years ago, and everyone in the village wanted some of the meat. He had to keep track of who he gave the meat to and how much he gave as he started to distribute it to the villagers. This was how people traded for thousands of years. Everyone was forced to keep track of their own debts because there was no ledger to track who owed what. But what if he could devise a system that kept track of who owed him money and how much they owed him? Money is essential. If you want meat from now on, you must give me stones as a way to keep track of your debt. This was the beginning of currency, which emerged not out of barter but out of the need to keep track of debts. This new technology was so popular that it didn't take long for it to catch on. Everyone started using the ledger system because it made keeping track of debts so much easier. However, various villages with different ledgers inevitably decided to trade. Unfortunately, there was one stumbling block. They needed a universal ledger, something that could function as a universal form of currency, allowing people to communicate with people from other communities. They couldn't, however, just use something to create a large-scale system. They needed to choose something that was universally scarce, divisible, transportable, robust, identifiable, and fungible. The precious metal gold. What about the precious metal gold? Gold was almost ideal as a medium of exchange. People started to cultivate an attitude toward gold about 5,000 years ago, which has been passed on from generation to generation. This mindset was focused on the idea that money had some inherent value. But the fact is that gold has little intrinsic value apart from acting as a universal ledger. This mentality persists today, owing to the fact that people store gold, speculate in it, and wear it around their necks as a result of it. Credit cards and banks. While gold served us well as a currency, people have always sought to better the economic system by incorporating modern technologies. People soon found ways to build upon gold, and banks arose as a result. Banks. Around 40 years ago, we witnessed yet another shift in currency when we began to use credit and debit cards. These advancements, like previous developments in currency, came about as a result of emerging technologies being used to develop our financial system. But a lot has happened in the last 4 decades. Despite the advent of the internet and the information revolution, our monetary structure has remained unchanged and is still stuck in the past. Bitcoin is a digital currency. Bitcoin is the world's first fully digital currency. Bitcoin was created for the information age, and it eliminates many of the drawbacks of both physical and electronic currency. Bitcoin is the world's first and only scarce digital resource. There will never be more than 21 million bitcoins by default. One bitcoin is made up of 1 million bits, making it divisible. Bitcoin is frictionless. You can transfer bitcoins for free and in real time through email, text message, or even paper. Bitcoin is verifiable because it employs sophisticated cryptography that makes it impossible to forge. Bitcoin is a global currency that, like the internet, is decentralized. It is not under the jurisdiction of anyone or any government. Bitcoin is an open-source project with no single owner. Instead, we all own it. Money exists, according to popular belief, because the government produces and supports it. Money, on the other hand, persists because it fulfills a fundamental social need, as we've seen throughout history. We've been using the latest technological developments to develop our system for over 25,000 years. Even though Bitcoin, credit cards, and paper bills are not the same as the stones used as currency. Today's money serves the same reason as it has for thousands of years, as it did 25,000 years ago. It's a ledger that functions as a value store, a medium of trade, and a unit of account. Bitcoin may be the most critical social experiment of our